Shabbat Shalom.
It's really nice to see you all out here for our Courtyard Shabbat service. We are so lucky to live in Los Angeles where, I mean, it is warm in a lot of places, but what's special about us is we don't have that humidity. We just get to enjoy being out here together, look at, the greenery, the sky. We're just so lucky, and I'm really glad that we are. And the moon is already out, clouds, everything. We have everything. So I'm really looking forward to just enjoying God's world tonight as we celebrate Shabbat. We are going to do a little bit of that by welcoming the light of Shabbat, this flame that is created for us, by lighting our Shabbat candles. And we are going to do that on page 2 is the blessing. And to light our candles tonight, I'd like to invite to our front here, Amy Cohen, who is a beloved member of our community, a graduate of our Intro to Judaism class, and just we're so glad you're here. She's actually visiting from Oakland and made it all the way down to our service tonight. Page 2. Through the plagues. He fought for us on behalf of everything we were experiencing as slaves in Egypt. He defended us after we went ahead and built our golden calf. He was on Mount Sinai with God, receiving our Torah time and time again. Moses is our defender, our true protector, but in this week's Torah portion, Moses makes a mistake. When the people are yet again complaining, they're thirsty, they're hungry, they're tired. Moses gets so frustrated. Moses feels this anger that for actually a lot of time up until this moment, God has felt the anger, but this time Moses actually lashes out at the people and doesn't defend us anymore. But Moses, when the people are complaining about how thirsty they are, of course Moses goes up to the rock where God tells Moses to ask for water. And instead Moses screams at the people, "You rebels, shall I get some water out of this rock?" Angry and forceful, like a Moses we haven't quite seen before. And of course, because Moses strikes the rock and displays this anger, instead of asking kindly, Moses is punished. Moses doesn't get the benefit of entering the promised land as he has been so patiently, so generously waiting to do and leading our people to do. In just a moment, we're going to take some time for Hazarat HaShavua, which is this time in our service where we have some silent reflection, time to just think to ourselves about where we've been in the week and where we're going this Shabbat and in the week ahead. I think Moses' story in this Torah portion is a reminder that even the most righteous, even the most perfect among us make mistakes. And I would venture to say that all of us here made at least one mistake in the past. So as we do Hazarat HaShavua, I'll invite you to begin it by saying something kind to yourself. What is it that you did right during this past week? What is it that you did right during this past week? And how can you appreciate yourself for it? We don't always take time to be kind to ourselves, so let's do that. Let's reflect on it for a few moments in silence. Page 20, as we welcome the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi.
La בשמחה ובצהלה תאכלוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי ליתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
There's so much in this Torah portion. One other aspect of this portion is that it reminds us that freedom is not easy, right? We would have perhaps expected that the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, they went from slaves to their own people in the desert, and it would have been smooth sailing onward, but that is so far from what happens. And as I said, this Torah portion is just complaining after complaining after complaining. We're going to sing Mi Chamocha now on page 40, which is really a chanting, a celebration of freedom, hard-won freedom. And our tradition, though, reminds us that freedom is so worth celebrating precisely because it is not easy to get, it is not easy to come by, and it is not easy to sustain. So as we're singing, we sing with all of our gusto, all of our celebration, because it is so worth celebrating. Special about being out here in the courtyard is that, well, it's not quite dark yet, but we get a sense of what the sky will be like in a few hours when it will be dark. And we also get that heightened sense of exactly why with Ufros Aleni we're praying for protection, for Shabbat Shalom, for peace, for the darkness until we wake up tomorrow morning. Page 42.
Ufros Aleinu, Shabbat Shomecha. Ufros Aleinu, Shabbat Shomecha. Let's try that again. Ufros Aleinu, Shabbat Shomecha.
Service, we have an opportunity to say our Mishabera, our prayer for healing. How special it is that we take time to pray for ourselves, we take time to think about freedom and appreciate the coming of night, and yet we also take time to think about others. We take time to think about the healing of mind, or body, or soul. We begin by singing together the first part of Mishabera. Then we'll take time in the middle to collect names. I'll go I'll share names from our community, and then we'll close by singing again together. Leave page 258. 53.
Let's sing hallelujah.
Last weekend, I spent time with a friend as she told me about her phone cleanse. This new thing where she's not bringing her phone into her bedroom. Instead of scrolling before bed, she's been reading. She says she can't believe how quickly and soundly she falls asleep. Instead of using her phone as an alarm clock, she bought a new alarm clock that shines UV rays when she's supposed to be waking up. She says she has never felt so alert. I listened to my friend with a sense of, it was surprising to me, a sense of envy. I wish that I could wean myself off of my phone, but it feels impossible. I wake up, check my email. I scroll mindlessly at every free moment of my day. I have trouble putting my phone down early enough to get ample sleep. And the worst part of it is, this social media, this phone, at one time it felt good. It made me feel connected. It made me feel informed about what was happening in the world. It made me feel creatively inspired to look at beautiful photos on Instagram. But it now leaves me feeling the exact opposite: anxious, overwhelmed, drained. In our Torah portion this week, Hukat, the Israelites too suffer from too much of a good thing. I'm not talking about the overconsumption of social media, but the overconsumption of manna, the mysterious food that God showers like dew upon the Israelites each night. Instead of being grateful for this magical, guaranteed daily sustenance, the people do what they do best about the manna: they complain. They nag Moses, why did you make us leave Egypt to die here in the wilderness? There's no bread and there's no water, and we have come to loathe this miserable food. Rabbis throughout history have wondered about the reason for the Israelites' complaints. Are the people just really spoiled, or is there more going on here? Rashi answers. He writes, because the manna was absorbed into their limbs, they called it miserable, saying, in the future this manna will swell up in our insides. Can any mortal keep absorbing without excluding? In other words, according to Rashi, the people notice that manna is not like real food. They just eat it, and eat it without producing, if you know what I mean, anything in return. They worry, what if one day the manna blows up inside of us and makes us sick? Another commentator, Cooney, argues that they're not upset because the food seems unnatural in its failure to produce waste. Cooney says that when they call the manna miserable, using the Hebrew word haklokel, this word not only means miserable, but also disintegrating. The food then is literally making the people disintegrate. It makes them weak and helpless. Instead of feeling inspired to produce their own food, they're being pampered, and they lack human power and agency as a result. Social media is like manna. We absorb and absorb and absorb, and it robs us of human power and agency. After spending too much time on my phone, I feel almost paralyzed. Too worried about the world's news to believe that I can actually do anything to change it. Too down on myself to truly appreciate what I do have. So what can I do? What can we all do? Because I would venture to say I'm not alone in feeling this way. What comes next in our Torah portion provides an answer. In response to the people's grumblings, God sends serpents down to them, and these serpents attack them, and many of the Israelites even die. Moses intervenes on behalf of the people, and God says, okay, God then tells Moses to build a serpent figure and to place it on top of a tall pole. And anyone who is bitten by these serpents shall look up at the pole and be healed. The rabbis of the Mishnah are troubled by this pole. They worry that it's like idol worship, so they come up with an answer. They write, can it be that a snake kills or a snake gives us life? Rather, when Israel looked upward, they subjected their hearts to their parent in heaven, aka God. The pole heals not because of what it is physically, but because of what it forces the people to do. It forces them to look up and to notice God's presence. Friends, I think we need to do a little more looking up at God and a little less looking down on our phones. This could have implications for how we end up spending our entire lives. Catherine Price, author of How to Break Up with Your Phone, writes about what has been coined as the attention economy. She writes, in this economy, we are not customers of apps. Advertisers are. We are essentially the product, manipulated into giving our most precious resource, our attention, away for free. She continues, the reason that this is important is that ultimately our lives are what we pay attention to. We only experience what we pay attention to. We only remember what we pay attention to. Or, perhaps sometimes there are things on our phone, she writes, that we need to be paying attention to, that we need to see, but it's also essential to remember that, like time, our attention is a zero-sum equation. Every minute we spend mindlessly scrolling is a minute that we didn't spend on something else, something we might actually care about. And that's a big deal, because these minutes, when repeated over hours and days and weeks and months, they add up to our lives. We find ourselves right now at the start of Shabbat. Shabbat, these 25 hours when we're literally commanded to put technology down, is the original phone cleanse long before my friend was ever doing it. You're all here at this service, praying, looking at each other, talking with each other, listening to this sermon rather than being on your phones. It's a great first step. How can you draw out that intended spirit of Shabbat even further? Truly looking up and around over these next 25 hours. What beautiful things might you enjoy, taste, smell, touch, feel, see, because you choose to do so? Every Shabbat we sing Kiddush. Actually, we didn't do it at the start of this service, but you are supposed to do Kiddush at the start of every Shabbat, and in it, we are reminded to Shamor v'Zachor Shabbat, to keep and remember Shabbat. I implore you to do that as much as possible. Keep Shabbat by putting your phone face down while at your family meal tonight or tomorrow. Remember Shabbat by really giving yourself a Shabbos rest. Place your phone in a different room when you fall asleep tonight. Maybe you want to try saying goodbye to Shabbat while watching the sunset. Maybe doing Dala, I don't know. But resist the urge to snap a pic for Instagram. Shamor v'Zachor, not because these are Shabbat commandments, but because doing so has the power to make us more aware of God's presence, to make our time here more holy, more beautiful, more connected. Perhaps Shamor v'Zachor, remembering and keeping Shabbat, has the power, like the serpent pole, to heal us. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue now in our service by singing Aleinu together. I will invite everyone to please rise, and Aleinu is found on page 282.
לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
May all be seated. Just a moment, we'll recite our mourner's Kaddish, our Kaddish of memory, together as a community. But before I do that, I'm going to read the poem on the bottom of page 290. You can read along if you would like. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was a gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love, what death has touched. Before we recite mourner's Kaddish together, we take time to acknowledge those in our community who are mourning right now. If you are here in the first week of mourning, I'll invite you to rise now and share the name of who you're thinking about. Or if you're in the first 30 days, Shloshim of mourning, I'll invite you to rise now and recite who you're thinking about. Tonight our temple community is thinking about Hamayun Tuni Neiman. If you're in the first year of mourning, I'll invite you to rise now and share the name of who you're thinking about. Yeah. If you're here observing a yard site, I'll invite you to rise now. We're especially thinking of Dina Boris, Betty Gutman, Betty Rappaport, and Stanley Young. And now we rise as one community and recite Kaddish together. We say it for those who don't have anyone to say Kaddish for them. We say it for all of those in our world who have had violence, disease, in the past few years. Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Dama Divrach, Yoter, Malach, Malchutay, L'chayachon, U'yomechon, U'lechaye Decho Beit Yisrael, Ba'galah Nizman Karui V'imreu Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam U'lameh Omaya, Yitbarach, Yishtorach, V'yitbar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yithaleh, V'yithalal, Shmei V'yishon Erfli, Le'elam Yikol V'yithatal Shirah, Tishravata V'nehemata, Damiram Yomah V'imreu Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Yisrael, V'imreu Amen. Osei Shalom Me'romah, V'yaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Yisrael, V'imreu Amen. Zikronam Livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. a reminder that our schools are now accepting registrations for the new school year. So that includes our ECC ages 2 to 5 and our religious school ages 4 through the end of high school. So if you have any questions about any of our schools, please come talk to me. I would be more than delighted to answer anything. Intergenerational choir. Okay, I know it's July, but here the thing is that the holidays will come up sooner than I would like to admit. So that means that it is time to begin practicing and rehearsing for our services, and that includes our intergenerational choir with Cantor Weiss. So if you would like to test your hand at singing and really creating a really beautiful, most importantly, creating a beautiful prayer experience for this community during the high holiday services, please join us for the intergenerational choir, where you get to sing your heart out during our high holiday services. Join us for summer yoga. Our very own Michelle Aaron leads yoga classes right here in our chapel on Tuesday and Friday mornings, 8 and 9:30 a.m. It's a great way to get your day started and feel good this summer. Join us for yoga. What else? Minion Care Meeting. If you're a member of our Saturday morning Minion and want to talk about what the future of the Minion looks like in the coming year, please join us for that on July 20th. And just so you all know, we have a Shabbat Morning Minion here every Saturday at 10 a.m. and we would love to have any of you join us for that with lunch. We follow with a really good deli lunch, so please join us. Shabbat Shalom. I want to thank Elizabeth, Yaron, for playing so beautifully and making our services special tonight. I want to thank Karen Porper, who was our greeter this evening at the back table there. It was a pleasure leading with Rabbi Aaron, our security, our maintenance, who make it
to the cantor.
possible.
Awesome the cantor was tonight.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll close with
Oseh Shalom.
Oseh
You
Shalom.
want to stand up, put your arm around the person next to you, ask permission first, of course.